3:58 a.m. A silent office. One screen shows $1.4 trillion in capital. You're not trading stocks anymore. You're deciding where the future of the global economy will go next. It's 3:58 a.m. in a glass tower overlooking the desert skyline. The city outside is silent. Inside, a single room glows with soft light from a wall-sized screen. On that screen, $1,400 billion. $1.4 trillion. You sit at the center of a long table. Around you are economists, geopolitical strategists, former central bankers, and dealmakers from the world's biggest investment banks. But the final decision is yours. You're not managing a portfolio. You're managing a sovereign wealth fund. And today, you decide where billions of dollars will move across the global economy. But to understand how you got here, we need to go back to the beginning. Because the road to controlling trillions of dollars doesn't start with power. It starts with a spreadsheet. Level 1, the analyst. You are 24 years old. Your job title sounds impressive, investment analyst. The reality: you live inside Excel. Financial models, market research, sector reports. You analyze semiconductor companies in Taiwan, renewable energy firms in Europe, infrastructure projects in Southeast Asia. Every day you ask the same question: where will the world grow next? The fund you work for isn't a hedge fund chasing quarterly returns. It's something far more powerful. A sovereign wealth fund. Government-owned capital built from oil revenues, trade surpluses, and national reserves. And your job is helping decide how that money shapes the future. Today you're reviewing a $600 million renewable energy investment. To the world, it's a press release. To you, it's 200 pages of projections. You calculate IRR, risk exposure, currency volatility. And one small assumption in your model could change whether the fund invests or walks away. Your boss walks past your desk. He glances at the screen, then asks a quiet question. Are you confident in these numbers? You pause, because billions of dollars might follow this model. And suddenly the numbers feel heavier. Question for you: if your analysis could move hundreds of millions of dollars, would you double-check everything or trust your instincts? This is your first lesson. In this world, data becomes power. But the people above you, they control something even bigger. Decisions. Level 2, the strategy room. You are 29. You're no longer just analyzing companies. Now you sit in strategy meetings. Large digital screens show maps of the world. Asia, Europe, North America. Each region flashing with numbers. Growth forecasts. Demographic trends. Political risk. Your sovereign wealth fund isn't investing for next quarter. It's investing for the next 50 years. One strategist speaks. Artificial intelligence will reshape global productivity. Another responds. Energy transition will reshape geopolitical power. A third voice says something that changes the room. Then we need to own the infrastructure behind both. Suddenly the conversation shifts. Data centers, chip manufacturing, energy grids. This isn't about picking stocks anymore. This is about owning the future economy. A proposal appears on screen. $2.8 billion investment in global semiconductor manufacturing. Your job: stress test the strategy. If tensions rise between global superpowers, these factories become geopolitical assets. But if demand explodes, this could become a $20 billion opportunity. You look around the room. Everyone knows the same truth. Sovereign wealth funds don't just follow markets. They quietly shape them. Question for you: if you could invest billions in technologies that will define the future, which industry would you choose? But you're about to discover something. Because the real power of sovereign wealth funds doesn't happen in conference rooms. It happens in private deals. Level 3, the deal table. You are 34. Tonight you're sitting inside a private meeting room in London. Across the table are executives from a global infrastructure company. They want capital. You represent something they can't find anywhere else. Patient money. Sovereign wealth funds don't panic sell. They don't chase quarterly earnings. They invest for decades. The CEO slides a proposal across the table. A global port network. Shipping terminals across Europe and Asia. Cost of acquisition. $7.3 billion. You review the projections. Global trade will grow. Shipping demand will rise. And whoever controls these ports controls a piece of global logistics. But there's a problem. Acquiring these assets could give your government influence over strategic trade routes, which means regulators might push back. Politics enters the room. The CEO asks quietly, "Are you prepared for the scrutiny?" You lean back. Because you understand something he doesn't. Sovereign wealth funds operate in the shadows of geopolitics. Your capital is welcome. But your influence makes people nervous. Still, the deal makes sense. You nod. And just like that, $7.3 billion moves forward. Question for you. If you had billions to invest in strategic infrastructure, would you focus on profit or geopolitical power? Because now the scale of your decisions is changing. You're not moving millions. You're moving industries. Level 4 Global Capital. You are 40. Your sovereign wealth fund has crossed a milestone. $1.4 trillion in assets. That number changes everything. You now invest across every major asset class. Public equities, private equity, real estate, infrastructure, venture capital. And every week, the biggest firms in the world come to you. Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, Apollo, KKR, all pitching deals. Because when you deploy capital, entire markets react. Today's meeting is about artificial intelligence infrastructure. Data centers across North America. Power consumption is equal to small cities. Investment required. $12 billion. But there's a deeper question. AI will become the backbone of the global economy. And whoever funds the infrastructure controls the rails of the digital world. Your team debates for hours. Return projections. Energy demand. Regulatory risks. Finally, someone says something that shifts the conversation. If AI becomes the new electricity, we want to own the grid. Silence fills the room. Because everyone understands the implication. This isn't just an investment. This is a strategic position in the future of computing. You approve the deal. And within months, your sovereign wealth fund becomes one of the largest investors in global AI infrastructure. Markets notice, but they don't see the full picture. Because the real influence of sovereign wealth funds is far quieter. Level 5 The quiet influence. You are 45. And you've learned the biggest secret in global finance. Power isn't loud. It's subtle. When hedge funds move money, markets react instantly. When sovereign wealth funds move money, entire sectors evolve slowly over years. You invest $5 billion into renewable energy. Suddenly banks start financing wind farms. Private equity follows. Governments adjust policy. A quiet ripple becomes a global shift. This is how sovereign capital works. Not through speculation. Through direction. Tonight you're reviewing a proposal. A $15 billion global infrastructure partnership. High-speed rail. Smart ports. Energy grids. The investment could reshape entire regions. But it also raises ethical questions. Because every mega project creates winners and losers. Communities displaced. Jobs created. Industries disrupted. You pause for a moment and ask yourself something few people ever consider. Who should decide where trillions of dollars shape the world? Governments, markets, or people like you? Question for you. If you controlled $1.4 trillion, how would you shape the global economy? Because the answer reveals something deeper. Power isn't about money. It's about direction. Final level the architect. You are 50. And after decades inside global finance, you understand the real role of sovereign wealth funds. They are architects of the future economy. While traders chase short-term profits, sovereign investors quietly build the foundations of the next generation. Airports, AI infrastructure, Energy systems. Supply chains. Entire ecosystems funded by patient capital. Tonight you're looking out over the skyline again. The same silent city. The same glowing screens. But now the number on the wall reads $1.4 trillion. Capital representing the wealth of an entire nation. Capital shaping industries across the world. And tomorrow, you will decide where the next $20 billion goes. Somewhere on the other side of the world. A startup founder will receive funding. A port will be expanded. A semiconductor factory will break ground. And millions of people will feel the impact, without ever knowing where the money came from. That's the strange truth about sovereign wealth funds. They don't just invest in the world. They quietly build it. Closing loop. Tomorrow morning, somewhere in another office, a young analyst will open their first spreadsheet. They'll start with numbers, small investments, simple models. But if they stay long enough, one day they might sit where you are now, inside a silent room, looking at $1.4 trillion, deciding where the global economy goes next. And the world will never know their name. But it will live inside their decisions.